Welcome to week 3 of ITO 225 Web Technologies. This is Professor Abel. Welcome to week 3. I've seen some really strong work, some good work these first 2 weeks. Some great websites, simple websites as you're finding out, but they're pretty good. You guys did some great work. Some cool images, some cool topics. And as we shift from just HTML to HTML and CSS, hopefully you'll learn a little bit more of the behind the scenes of how websites and web applications work. We'll also build on this next week, or this week, and then shift to some of the latest approaches to layout for the web, responsive web design. Alright, so we're on our home page here. Don't forget to check your announcements every week. So don't forget, in our modules tab, we should have a question queue, so if you ever have any questions that you can put out there that I could answer and other students can answer. So I check that from time to time. Obviously, email me, call me. You have my phone number, so you can call me, email me, question queue, or come to office hours for any help. But it seems like everybody's doing pretty good so far. Let's go back to the home page. So make sure you check your announcements, check your grades from time to time. Also, we have our modules as we know. Yours may look a little different. We are starting week 3, so let's take a look at week 3 here. This week we'll be adding some more CSS, looking at jQuery, and including some video. Welcome page here. Welcome to week 3. This week's lesson focuses on the inclusion of client-side scripting for web page interactivity and dynamic content display. We also consider socioeconomic issues and current internet trends such as invasions of the privacy of users. Alright, you'll also read through your textbook for this week. You'll expand your vocabulary of CSS code and learn about creating tables and forms. In the project for this week, we will increase interactivity through adding dynamic interface elements and media to our fixed layout website. We'll examine the importance of making sound typography choices in web design to aid readability and communication. Okay, you can read the rest on your own. Let's move on. Don't forget your practice of presence. Week 3 readings resources. Once again, there's some chapters from the book that can help you. Alright, they may teach you a little more than we do in the project, and we may teach you something in the project that they don't cover in the book. Alright, so it's good to address both. At least read the book chapters that are assigned, the pages. Take a few notes in a notebook of some of the main techniques, the main points, the main things you learn. Also, if there's some step-by-step exercises, you are free to do those. I encourage you to do those for your own good. Alright, so there's some of the different chapters assigned for this week. Once again, you're not required to do the step-by-steps from those chapters, but it may help you understand things a little more and learn something new. We also have some articles and videos throughout this week, so make sure you check those out. There's a recommended reading article about typography. It's all creative use of typography. Also, an extra chapter assigned if you want to, if you have time, about floating and positioning, which we don't really cover too much in this assignment, but it may give you some other things to think about. Also, we have those LinkedIn tutorials using jQuery. Alright, so those LinkedIn tutorials, just extra learning opportunities, extra practice opportunities for you to do. If you have time, I encourage you to take a look at that. Also, W3 Schools, sort of the default basic place that people go to for learning some of these different coding techniques for web applications, web design, web layout. So go ahead and check that out if you want on your own. Not required to, but it's great to check those out. Alright, then we have a little focus topic, no pun intended, on images using photos. Alright, as you found out in your last website and in your target audience discussion board questions last week, images, colors, textures, fonts can make a big difference in reaching that target audience. Really communicating not just the content, but communicating the emotions, the mood, the desire behind what you're trying to do. Alright, so there's a couple quick videos about using images and how images can affect web design and society at large. So as college students, it's always important not just to learn the techniques, not just to learn the technology, but also as college students, you want to be thinking critically. How is this topic, how is this technology affecting our world, affecting society, affecting humans? All right. There's some links to some sources for free images or some paid images. Okay, that's up to you. You may want to use those in the future for this website, for this class, or just for other topics or projects in your future. Keep in mind, you can always take your own images. And here's some great ways to find some background texture images for some of what we're doing. So check out these image-based sources that might help you out. And then we talk about typography a little bit. There's a typography very short documentary about typography, things to think about. There's a Helvetica movie. There's some certain scenes from the Helvetica movie. Helvetica is a feature-length movie documentary talking about the Helvetica font. All right, that was created a while ago, and top designers from around the world talk about how Helvetica is used and what it means. And you'll be surprised if you get a hold of the actual full-length movie how it can address different topics, how it can be a very simple font can be controversial, political even. All right, so watch these short clips, but if you have a chance to watch the full movie, I recommend that you do that. Also, I listed a couple places you can find some free fonts, some free font downloads. Now you can use these in Microsoft Word, Photoshop, InDesign. You could use these locally for your web design too, for practice. But we'll see through Adobe how we can also access some web fonts. So this is just to get you thinking about the use of fonts, the use of different types of text. And one more topic, which is our discussion board for this time, our discussion question for this week: privacy. Very important topic, especially for what we're facing in our world today. I created this course a while back, and it was important then, but it's even more important now. The question of privacy on the web. Knowledge of the origins, current, and future trends, as well as socioeconomic effects of information technologies, is vital to technology professionals who will potentially be responsible for shaping these forces and influencing the character of our society. From our willing surrender to social media corporations to secret surveillance by our government, our personal privacy may quickly be diminished, and that's sort of happening now. The question is, how far will you let it go? Read the linked articles and watch the video links below, then answer the questions. So we have some articles about Facebook, how they are invading your privacy, sometimes for commercial business purposes, sometimes for purposes connected to our government or other governments, or agenda-driven points of view. Watch these videos. NSA whistleblower, questions of how we got to where we are, and some questions about China, how they are pushing their total monitoring, tracking, invasive control of their population. And in our current state of affairs, I know YouTube's been dropping a lot of videos, so if you find that any of these are not working or are broken, send me an email, send me a message, let me know that something's taken down by YouTube, and I'll try to find alternative videos. So make sure you answer the questions. Don't just list the questions and answer them in one or two sentences. Try to think critically about these. Really invest some thought on your own, because you will be facing these issues, you and your family, and as a technology professional, you may be responsible at one point for some of this technology and allowing it to continue, or trying to change it and affect it in a positive way. So put some thought into this. We all have to face this. Minimum requirements. Next, our project for this week. We're building on last week's website, which is a fixed website. Not so much used anymore, but very important to know how that works. It's a great way to learn some of the basics of CSS formatting and layout with a fixed website. Then we'll move on to the responsive next week. Alright, so make sure you gear this website to reach your target audience. And we're doing the movie websites. Once again, movies are affected too. A lot of theaters shut down. So this is an interesting time to be doing all of these discussions and projects. Make sure you meet the requirements, and you're always welcome to do more, guys. Always welcome to do more. Alright, the goal beyond the requirement. These are just the basic requirements, and you'll do fine if you follow along these tutorials. Look at the examples, follow along the tutorials, call me or text me or contact me, email me if there's any questions, and I'll help you out. But feel free to do more, to explore even more. Now, one thing you could do, you get to a certain point, maybe you finish the basics of this assignment, duplicate that whole root folder, that whole website folder, and then use one to experiment on. Try new things, learn new things, bring something in here that you can learn from LinkedIn or at W3 Schools. Alright? And you could get some extra credit that way. Now, if things don't work out, that's fine. That's why you have that backed up folder. But that's how you learn, is by tinkering around. Okay. So have fun with this one. And try to make sure you get this one finished on time. Some of us are still behind on a project, so let's try to get caught up. Use this time to catch up before we get even farther behind. And once again, please watch these videos. If you find any issues with these videos, maybe they're out of order or something's not working correctly, please give me a message and let me know. Some examples to look at. Once again, you only have to do, I think, six movies for this project. This student here ended up doing 6 for each decade. So went above and beyond, did some extra interactivity that was not required, and they got extra credit. We'll be looking at forms and tables and CSS, and including some video. So have fun with this, do the best you can, and contact me if there's any troubles.